Your Weather Authority forecast from meteorologist Nakandra Norwood.
We're looking at Hurricane Helene as it is making its way into the Gulf of Mexico now. This is becoming a pretty healthy looking system here. You see some of that spin that you expect, that buzzsaw look, and you can even see the little high thin clouds coming out. That would be outflow. So that storm is venting and you're seeing the thunderstorms really bubbling up. This is your latest position that we have from the National Hurricane Center, and 80-mile-per-hour wind there is it's about 85 miles to the north-northeast of Cozumel. We're looking for this to take that little bit of a turn to the northeast here and moving across the warm water, increasing in intensity pretty quickly so that by tomorrow we'll be seeing a landfall somewhere in Florida. Remember, the center somewhere in here. Impacts are going to be much greater, and they should penetrate inland pretty far because the storm will be moving fairly quickly. Happens a little bit later in the season, especially, you know, we have that upper low that's going to be helping to steer this along. One of the reasons you see that turn back to the west. This is the area highlighted. These are all your warnings. So the blue are tropical storm warnings. The red would be hurricane warnings, and we're expecting to see those impacts, of course, far away from where the center of that storm comes in. We've heard some predictions that 270 miles away from the center where you'd be seeing tropical storm force winds. Now, storm surge expected all along the Florida coast here. Some significant storm surge. We'll see how this all plays out as that storm continues to move farther inland. Here's a look at the satellite and the placement of where our center is. You start to see those thunderstorms really circulating around that. And with the visible satellite now, we've got a few more frames. We're going to be watching here as we continue to see that move away from the influence of the Yucatan Peninsula, Cuba. The center of the storm is really out over the water, so it's not having a huge impact. But as that moves away, you definitely see a little bit more of the open environment in the water where you're really going to start to see Helene blossoming and becoming a stronger hurricane here as it moves across that warm water. Now, the water vapor gives you an indication of what moves everything along. Remember our high pressure that was out over the Gulf of Mexico? Well, now it's back here, and you're seeing some of that troughing, that dip that's helping to move our cold front in. So as that happens, that helps to draw that system north, and we're actually going to see this eventually merging where that low ends up getting sucked into the upper low, which is going to be the stronger system here. That Fujiwara effect. They kind of do a little dance. And then that'll move on as we continue into next week. We get back into high pressure here over the Gulf of Mexico and things calm down. But you got a big wind field that we're going to be dealing with. And this is where your model is right now. It's following the eastern edge of that cone, which would mean the major impacts coming in here along that west coast of Florida. Of course, that's going to be your eastern side of the storm. Let's talk about the messy side of the storm as well, with the drier air circulating or back around on the west side, and then very strong wind still as it moves north through central Georgia. And this is during the day Friday. So look at the timing here, 6 a.m. Friday. This is going to be early. So you're planning on that trip to Atlanta, and you know, I've already had one call about, is it going to be safe to take a bus ride? I would say, you know, check in with your company that you're traveling with. Airlines, you're definitely going to see some delays here because this whole region is going to be impacted. And, you know, when you have delays in the morning in particular, well, that usually goes through the day, domino effect. But later in the day, we do see the actual weather system moving out. So, you know, it was about an 8-hour drive to Atlanta. You may be able to find out, you know, was there any problems? Do we have power outages? Was there flooding issues? And, you know, maybe leave a little bit later. Make those decisions based on what's happening at the location that you're trying to make it to, where you're planning on staying and that kind of thing. As by the time you get to game time, I don't think we have any of those issues. The heavy rainfall, though, could be a thing if we end up having flooding problems. For us, nothing like that. Less than ½ an inch of rain expected around here, and that is happening today as our cold front moves on through the area and keeps Helene on that shift off to the east here. We're going to get into the drier air that settles in across the region, sticks with us, and for a while here, our extended forecast actually looks really good. In the 7-day, we'll get our rain chance out today, and then look at that. Dry, sunshine, lower humidity, temperatures in the 80s, and overnight lows. We're going to have that drier air settle in. We can see some overnight lows there, low 60s, maybe even a couple of spots getting to upper 50s. So not a dramatic fall cold front, but I think folks will appreciate it.
Yeah, appreciate it, and we're thankful it's not coming here, but you got to think of the folks in Florida, and hopefully it will go in an area which is less populated, we hope.
If you remember Dow last year, it caused a lot of problems the last couple of years ago, but the brunt of that storm surge went into a wildlife protection area.
Yeah.
And, any little bit helps.
Yes, so true. We know that all too well. Thank you, Nicole.